country. Close to 800 others have also been repatriated for their involvement in transnational and organized crime. Speaking during the Government Accountability Series, the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mubarak, insisted that the exercise is being undertaken mindful of Ghana's obligations and ECOWAS protocols on freedom, on free movement of persons. And let's hear exactly what the minister said.
Our borders, maintain public order and safeguard our national security and economic interests. By the end of 2025, the Ghana Immigration Service has removed 2,281 migrant beggars on our streets and 774 other illegal immigrants involved in transnational organized crime that have been removed from Ghana. By July this year, the Ghana Immigration Service has also removed 960 migrant beggars from the streets of Kumasi and Accra and 186 other illegal immigrants from our country. We are pursuing this removal fully conscious of Ghana's obligation under the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of persons, as well as the diplomatic relations and long-standing ties we and other countries have. Our objective is to reduce irregular migration and unlawful activities associated with it to the barest minimum, while ensuring that enforcement actions are lawful, undertaken by the appropriate authorities and carried out in a manner that is respectful of human dignity. Let me be clear that the challenges before us is not of lack of political will, security, intelligence, or leadership. It is principally a question of skill. And I can assure the public that there is a high-level consensus with earmarked logistical support to increase the scale of the removals and strengthen our borders. Evidence of that will soon be apparent. We will continue to protect Ghana's tradition of hospitality, but we will do so alongside a firm commitment to the rule of law and national security and public order. So, by way of update, this is what we have on the illegal immigrants. But most importantly, we have this election violence that we've been working on for the past about 18 or 20 months. The public will recall that on the 10th of January 2025, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, took a firm and necessary steps to protect the integrity of Ghana's democracy by directing.
The Interior Minister also disclosed that the principal suspects in the murder of one person and the injury of 5 others during the December 7, 2020 election in the Ablekuma Central constituency is an unidentified soldier who was dressed in military uniform. And he equally spoke during the same Government Accountability Series program.
Is undertaking covert operation to identify a person who shot and killed the deceased, Samira Zakaria, and injured 3 others. I was West Wigon, that's Laobawenshi. At a key suspect identified by police investigation, Ernest Akomia alias Double, is still at large, and intensive operational steps are underway to apprehend and prosecute him. Tachima South, that's Tachima, the former written autopsy report in respect of the deceased Mohammed Tajuddin Al-Hassan and Abdullah Ayarik have been obtained from the medical officer who conducted the autopsy. A duplicate docket is being prepared to be forwarded to the Attorney General Office for study and advice. The trial of the 3 accused persons is ongoing before the High Court 1, Accra. The next court date is October 12, 2026. Awutu Senya Constituency, that's Kaswa. Awutu Senya East Constituency, that's Kaswa. Member of Parliament Honorable Phyllis Na Koyo Akono and her sister Gifty Akono have submitted their written statement to the Special Investigation Task Force. Investigative effort to locate Mustafa Mohammed, the driver in charge of the Black Hawk Mahindra pickup, on which the deceased victim, Idris Larry Yusuf, was shot, are still ongoing.
And you heard there the Interior Minister Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak taking his turn at the Government Accountability Series, which ended just a few seconds ago. Let's go to Parliament now, because it's a big day in the House today as the members reconvene for a 5-day emergency meeting summoned by the Speaker for a possible vetting of new ministerial nominees. But before that would take place, the minority has attracted attention over a backdoor strategic meeting the caucus has held to discuss matters they want to champion during the short period. Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin has met the NPP flagbearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to streamline the agenda, but the gold losses is not off the radar. A parliamentary affairs correspondent, Christian Yali, joins us live on the line now. Chris, we have seen rumors, or actually heard of rumors, of what it is that the minority discussed. Do we have any confirmations yet?
No, we do not have any confirmation. Now, per what we saw earlier by some reports that the minority caucus is the one that has summoned the minority leader. We later had a post or an update from the minority leader indicating that he rather has summoned the meeting. And it is a standard practice that whenever Parliament is beginning a particular meeting, the minority caucus, even as well as the majority caucus, would meet to strategize, to discuss the plans they have for the meeting. So that is what happened. But I have also cited a post by the minority leader, in which post he indicates that he has met the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, to discuss the agenda of the party for this emergency meeting. And indeed, as it were, the main agenda per what he put up in that post is going to be their concerns about the $1.7 billion gold losses, which they've been pushing and championing over the past few weeks. And
indeed, you talk about gold losses, which obviously surrounds the Gold Board and the BOG. We know that two members of the United Party, Solomon Owusu and another, have petitioned the Speaker to probe the minority leader over claims of extortion. I'm wondering whether you have information regarding whether or not the Speaker of Parliament has received this petition, and is it likely to come up today?
It is very likely, but there again, we are unable to confirm because the Speaker's office has not communicated anything to us as of yet. But what we know is that at least the Speaker will be expected to read a number of communications today. One would include that about the majority leadership changes, and then would also have possibly that about the ministerial nominees. And so it is expected, or we are looking ahead to the Speaker possibly mentioning that. Yeah.
Beyond what you've mentioned, what should we expect really this week in the legislature, this 5-day recall, as it were?
Yeah, so what we know is that it is primarily, from my readings, going to be around the vetting of the ministerial nominees. But then again, because there is a vacuum in the majority leadership, because the majority leader, Mahamudu, has been designated a minister, it means that we are expecting the NDC as a party to formally communicate to Parliament the nomination of James Agaga as the next majority leader. And throughout the week, it is expected that the vetting of the new ministers, i.e. Mahamudu, as well as Dr. Zaneto Ajman-Rawlings, would take center stage. Of course, we know that in July thereabouts, the president nominated some judges to the Supreme Court as well. So we just hope to see and await the communication from the Speaker, which would then inform us exactly what is going to be the agenda for this emergency meeting, Beatrice.
Indeed. Christian Yali, thank you very much. A parliamentary affairs correspondent, bringing us an update of what we should expect today and the next 5 days as Parliament gets recalled to consider some important matters. Now, still on politics, and the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, is this afternoon intensifying its push for tighter regulation of political party and campaign financing in Ghana. At a media engagement today, the center put the spotlight on weaknesses in the existing political finance regime while examining the government's position on proposed constitutional reforms and provisions in a draft law intended to close regulatory gaps. Noble Crosby-Annan is my colleague who is currently at that engagement. He joins us live on the phone. Noble, what has come up so far?
Well, so essentially what CDD is doing this morning is to throw the spotlight on the need as to why we need to do more to regulate political parties and their financing. In fact, if we're going back to what the basic law says, both international, local, and regional laws all point to a certain direction that there's some need for some levels of regulation of political parties and even to some extent candidates. For various political actors in the country, they have had reasons to come out to talk about how much they spend when it comes to elections. And the prices they're mentioning, according to research by the CDD, these figures keep increasing from 2012 up until 2016, 2020, and in fact the projections for 2028, bearing in mind the data that we're looking at here from the CDD, that is painting a worrying picture. Now, if we're looking at some of the highlights of this problem, I mean, the main concern is the monetization of politics in the country. If you can extend the conversation to the bit about the internal elections of political parties, the nomination and the filing fees of political parties, but essentially both the NPP and the NDC, who are the leading political parties in the country. There's also the concern about vote buying or vote selling, and a major issue also on the unregulated financing of candidates, as well as the abuse of state resources and incumbency abuse. That was evident in the 2024 elections, with Dr. Bawumia as vice president, also a flag bearer of the NPP wanting to become president of the country. We find this also in various other political spheres of the country. So this is a major concern that CDD is raising that needs to be addressed. And they are looking at some of the impacts of this concern if they are not properly handled. The extreme monetization is also affecting the democracy of the country, and they're making a few recommendations as well. Maybe this would be the point that we'll wrap up the conversation on. They're asking for a few things, that we should be able to get a defined period of campaign, and then there should be some legislation that require candidates to submit financial reports that details their contributors, donations received, and all of that. And then we should address state filing fees and inter-party election costs to take care of the concern of monetization in the Ghanaian politics. These and more have been coming up at the CDD conference this morning, Beatrice.
Thank you very much. Noble Crosby and my colleague currently monitoring that CDD program for us. 16 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more. Do stay with us.
Freezer, yeah, diaba. Adama for diaba. A freezer. Adama, a craftsmanship. Adama. Metimoso, my sorry. Can you know? Obo Moasia. I do for Nobium Union San last night. I tell what we did. Adama for Adna Craftsman who said, yeah, the Druba Cope, a ship will be a technology. I go for freezer. When Kwan, and once open your 15 letters. No fugum, what ya no fugum. Who the boss here? If you be anyone what you equity self, over Timono. Then we sure say, women show task here. Then must send up for now. Freezer, power up a day. Freezer, Basia, a bastion do so among. I'm winning. Me what's it? Me. But you may not do some doom. Adama, with that Adama, no queer. Adama, you can't resist.
Benya Adama West Africa for a dream, or baby bear a tongue cry who had you. I say, Kayona Kinkai in Choya, a dream.
18 minutes past the hour of 12. This is the MiddayNews on 3FM 92.7. Now, the Parent Teacher Association of the Bolga Girls Senior High School has strongly condemned the alleged sexual abuse of a special needs 14-year-old student of the school, demanding a full, transparent and speedy investigation into the incident. In a statement dated the 24th of August and signed by the chairman of the association, Bishop Professor Albert Lugutera, and its Secretary General, Secretary Stanley Abopam, the PTA said it had followed the issue with deep concern, asking for support for the victim. Let me bring you a bit more regarding the statement issued by the association. It said that no child entrusted to the care of bogies should ever suffer any form of sexual abuse, exploitation or harm, and we consider the allegations extremely disturbing. The PTA further calls on GES, the Department of Social Welfare and relevant child protection agencies to ensure that the affected student receives the counseling, medical care and protection she needs, and that her welfare, dignity and educational future are safeguarded throughout the process. It said that the PTA wishes to reassure all parents and guardians that the safety and well-being of every student remain their foremost priority, and engaging school management and the GES to review and strengthen safeguarding measures at bogies, including the vetting and supervision of all security and support staff, restrictions on unsupervised access to students, clear reporting channels for students to raise concerns, and periodic safety audit of the school environment. Meanwhile, the District Chief Executive for Techima North, Adom Johnson, is calling on all stakeholders in the education sector to act swiftly to address the growing concern of indiscipline among students in basic and senior high schools in the districts and other parts of the country.
I wish to emphasize that the proposed district code of conduct is not intended merely as an instrument for punishment. Rather, it seeks to establish clear expectations of behavior, promote mutual respect, provide guidance on appropriate disciplinary procedures, and encourage students to take responsibility for their own actions. While schools have a primary responsibility for maintaining discipline, we must recognize that the bringing and development of every child is a shared responsibility. Parents and guardians, teachers, school authorities, traditional and religious leaders, the district assembly, the Ghana Education Service, and the community as a whole have important roles to play. The need for comprehensive and practical code of conduct has become increasingly important, particularly in view of some recent incidents of indiscipline recorded within our district and in other parts of the country. We must therefore take proactive measures. We should not wait for indiscipline to escalate into serious incidents before acting.
And I heard the Chief Executive, District Chief Executive for Techima North, Adom Johnson. This afternoon, workers of the National Lottery Authority are demonstrating at the authority's head office in Accra over what they describe as institutional neglect and unfair salary negotiations. The demonstration, organized by the local union of NLA, which is under the Financial Business and Services Employees Union, follows growing tensions between the workers and management, with the union accusing the Director General Alhaji Mohammed Abdul Salam of failing to protect their interests. The workers are demanding a review of the salary negotiations, insisting the current proposals do not adequately reflect their concerns, and are calling for what they describe as a restoration of fairness at the authority. Samuel Adams Yabua is at the NLA head office, and following this protesting, he joins us live on the phone. Samuel, what can you tell us? Samuel, if you can hear me, what can you tell us about those who are protesting today?
Okay, Beatrice. Well, the workers have laid down their tools and are demonstrating right here at the NLA head office. Some offices are closed, and the workers say even today's scheduled draw, which was supposed to take place this morning, has been suspended as they push management to address their concerns. Their grievances are mainly about what they describe as neglect of the workforce. They say there has been little investment in the tools and facilities they need to work, despite the revenue the authority generates. They are also unhappy with the salary negotiations, which they believe are unfair. And importantly, they are calling for the removal of the Director General, Alhaji Mohammed Abdul Salam. Let's listen to the chairman of the local union, Eric Tamaklu, when he addressed the media.
It's unfortunate that we are management who thinks we can suppress staff, we can make staff suffer. I know that we believe that as management, we misled them into approving 12%. Why am I saying? I'm saying this because before you even make an input into a budget, particularly related to salary increase, you ought to have reached out to the union, pick their minds, on how the negotiation is going to come about. But because of the autocratic nature of him, it is that it is 12% will be, and then he went ahead and put the 12% in the budget, and that was what was approved by the board. And we think that, one, he misled. So for management, we thought that in order to restore staff, the only thing you can put on the basic salary, so that if it goes through the process of taxation, we can be restored back to what we were going home with in 2024 is 15%. Nothing less, nothing, which means that we may not even be getting anything on top of our salary to even, pushing us in terms of, SNIT and all those things. Nothing. But at least it is just to restore us. We've done all the mathematics. Restore us. It cannot be that the money I go home with in 2024, after 2025, 5% increase, assuming we accept 2026, 12% they are pushing down our food. Even if we accepted that, we will still be going home with less than what we're going home with in 2024. Which union will accept that? Which worker will accept that? So that is what we want management to do. What do we want government to do? You see, as I keep saying, as at 2024, prior to the election, I have no doubt in my mind that, you see, if you are employed as a director to lead an institution, one critical question you should be asking yourself is that if elections are organized and elections are limited to where you are supposed to head, Ghana election, people are going to vote to either.
And you have Eric Tamaklo. He is with the National Lottery Authority, the local union chairman. Samuel Adams is still on the line with us. Samuel, was there any immediate response?
Okay, so far there hasn't been any direct response from the Director General to the workers here. There are some discussions ongoing, particularly around getting today's draw back on track. But the workers insist they want management to address their concerns first. We are still here monitoring the situation, and we will bring you any further development as the event unfolds.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Samuel Adams. Our reporter there. The closure of the deteriorated Kaneshie footbridge has become a growing concern for pedestrians, motorists and traders who rely on the facility for safe movement across the busy main road. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly has yet to secure a contractor to commence the much-needed rehabilitation works, leaving the footbridge inaccessible to the public for more than 6 months now. The situation has raised concerns over the urgency with which the authorities are addressing the deteriorating infrastructure and the need for a lasting solution to restore safe pedestrian access. Joseph Armstrong Gold Alugbe is my colleague. He's at Kaneshie. He joins us live on the line as well. Joe, what can you report?
Yeah, so British Canada, I speak to you now here at Kaneshie, where you see many people trying to cross the Kaneshie footbridge. But as I speak to you now, the challenge is that the bridge that was closed earlier, they are yet to commence work on it. And we have some task force from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly trying to control the flow of traffic. But pedestrians says it's not easy because sometimes you see the drivers trying to push their way through, making it very difficult for pedestrians to cross over along the Kaneshie area there. And then they are calling for the commencement of the footbridge because it's been over 6 months already since the Assembly closed down that footbridge, and not only one, but all the 2 footbridges along that area. So as it stands right now, they are calling on the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to be swift in coming to commence the construction of the Kaneshie footbridge.
Beyond the people who use the bridge, has there been any response from the Assembly or any official regarding how soon perhaps they intend to fix this challenge?
So we've tried many times trying to reach to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the Accra Mayor himself, to speak to us, but our calls are not being, our calls not going through. We've been to the office too, but we are told we have to wait. So we are still hoping that by close of day, we'll be able to get to the right authorities to talk to. But let me add this one quickly. Sources close to the Assembly suggest that the Assembly is yet to secure funding for the rehabilitation work to commence, which is why for the past 6 months, there's no contractor on site, Beatrice.
Thank you very much, Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe. My colleague Akaneshi bring us updates on the need for rehabilitation on the footbridge there. That's it for the Midday News here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to 3news.com for more news.